Hello, here you are with Dan on the 8th of December 2019, and today I'm going to be making a video showing you what you can plant out at this time of year and also some vegetable seeds that you can indeed sow for lovely crops next year. Some of you may remember the video where I sowed the seeds for these, so I'll show you what they are. So I sowed them probably about, it must have been a month or so ago now, and I sowed them here in these pots like this. You can see these pots like that, and also these I put in these little cell trays, and what I did was germinated them inside on a south facing windowsill. Alright, so at this sort of time of year when the weather is what one could describe as less than ideal for germination, it's very helpful to use microclimates, and I find windowsills are readily available to people and a great little microclimate, almost like a little greenhouse really. So Komatsuna, otherwise known as Japanese green, a very nice looking vegetable indeed. So you can see that, look, just how lovely that indeed looks. And in fact one could, in fact, should we try one? One could in fact, you know, eat these as they are now as salad leaves. Yeah, very nice earthy taste. And here, purple sword Celtus, otherwise known as stem lettuce, has a nice taste indeed as well. And Manchester table carrot, now this is very intriguing, got quite a history attached to this variety of carrot. And here we've got Oscar very dwarf early pea. So if you want, you can check out that video. It's a few videos ago now, but you can have a look and you can see the methodology in which I employed to germinate these. So for those of you who want to see what I'm going to be sowing later in the video, I will show you now. So we've got Ford Hook giant chard. Now anything you sow at this time of year, if you intend to put it outside, needs to be hardy, okay? Because in the UK, you know, we can get frosts here right up until late May really. So kale Vates blue curled, leaf beet chard or perpetual spinach, and Komatsuna Japanese green. Now the way I'm going to sow these is to put them into little trays like this, and then put them inside on a windowsill, a south facing windowsill, in order to help with the germination. And all being well, there'll be a decent sized plant around February, March time, which I can slowly harden them off and then plant them outside. And as the light levels increase, and hopefully with a bit of luck with some good weather, they can get a nice early start on growing, and hopefully I'll be able to get some lovely greens to eat relatively early in the season. So we're going to be starting off with planting out these lovely peas. Now let's get them out. I hope that you can see that okay. It's often good to just sort of tap the pots here. Bit of heat. There we go. They've got some established roots. You can see by that they're not coming out that easy, so that's a good sign. So there you go. Have a look at that. Even got a flower on. So the way I'm going to sow these is in each side of the pot, if there is such a thing. All I'm going to do is just, hope you can see that, okay, pull it out like that, look, and put that in. Simple really. So there you go, these are the Oscar early peas, and I'm just going to stick my little tag back there so I remember what they are. You can see here closer, this is what it looks like. So I've got them tied up, these canes, just using string. And I'm a bit funny actually about things like this, you know, for eye injury. You know, I just sometimes like to put a plant pot over it like that, just so people can, you know, don't get their eyes on it. Now the growing medium I'm using to transplant all of these vegetables, salads, whatever, out in is a mix of 50% of this grow bag compost. You may remember when I grew the tomatoes earlier in the year, I kept the growing medium, the compost, within the grow bag and put it in this big tumbler, tub, whatever you want to call it, down here, and 50% of that and 50% of multi-purpose compost, and just mixed it all up in equal amounts. And with regards to feeding, I'm going to be using this lovely liquid seaweed. I've had good results of liquid seaweed in the past. I like using it, and the plants like it as well. Next up is the purple sword keltus. So let's have a look and see what these look like. Wow. Nice root structure on them. Now the way I planted this out, the roots were quite intertwined, so it would have been a better sense really when I grew them, you know, to grow them either in individual cells or whatever, or maybe in these little cell trays like this, maybe just 3 or 4 in each one, then they would be easier to, you know, separate to plant out. But it doesn't matter, because you know, still got this lovely lush green growth there, and a few salad bits for salads there, and with the bigger pot they can now put their roots down and bulk out. Next up is the Komatsuna Japanese green. Have a look. Once again, some lovely root structure on there. And once again, to do with, you know, I don't want to be damaged them too much, I'm going to just transplant them straight into the pot. There you go. There's the Komatsuna Japanese green. Last but definitely not least is the Manchester table carrot. Let's have a look. Hey, nice root structures once again. And what I'm going to do with this is the same thing again. I might try and separate it. There you go, look. Not as intertwined. I'm just going to put them in clumps. And I'll be quite happy, to be honest, if these are, you know, end up as salad carrots or whatever. I'm not in the near future going to be entering any ginormous vegetable contests. There you go. So everything's planted out now. The Manchester table carrots looking lovely in there, as you could see. So just going to leave those in here. So everything here I'm going to be leaving in the polytunnel, at least initially, just let it harden off a little bit more. We're not getting as cold weather as we were a week or so ago, but we have got one night, I think, where there could be a frost coming up. That's what it said on the weather app anyway. But yeah, so basically, you know, to learn from this, you know, what I'm going to do next year I do this, is I'm going to be growing the same things again, particularly the Komatsuna and the purple sword keltus stem lettuce, because they look really, really good. But I'll probably sow them in individual cell trays, or not quite so densely compacted or whatever. But with regards to gardening, we're always learning. But the main thing that I wanted to see is how would they grow, and they've grown very well. So definitely purple sword keltus stem lettuce and Komatsuna for winter growing so far. Now I'm going to be doing a little bit of planting out. So what I'm going to do is use these little trays here, and they're going to go back in the windowsill propagator tops. I'll show you. I've got just a couple of them here. So what I do is I simply put the seeds in and put them in like that, and then you can just, you know, you can just put that on your windowsill as you see fit. Of course, so with regards to the proper use of a windowsill propagator, you've seen me use them before. You've got the little green base, and then you put your cell trays in with your compost and your seeds in, then you put this clear plastic thing on the top. But I've found they germinate just fine like this in a good microclimate south-facing windowsill. I'll show you how I'm going to be going about planting these new seeds out. So I'll show you one. Whoops, never mind, a few have come out of there. I'm going to be doing them all the same, so just need to show you. So what I'm going to do is get my seeds, which you could see there. This happens to be Komatsuna, and I'm going to have, what should I have? I'm going to have 5 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is a much more sensible way of doing this than how I sowed the ones before. You know, in nice individual trays. You know, but when I did those other ones, I did it that way. But that's, so there we go. Ford Hook Giant Chard. Chard seeds are very nice for planting actually, because they tend to be bigger seeds, as you can see here. And also I found that slugs and snails seem to stay away from chard, and spinach as well. And it appears the Komatsuna as well, with the ones I've got down there. So I'm quite happy about sowing those. It's going to go in there like that. And Vate's Blue Curled Kale. Kale really is one of my favourites to grow, because it's such a great vegetable, so nutritious, tasty, versatile, relatively low maintenance. Of course you've got the issue with the cabbage white butterflies, but I'm sure the majority of you know how to be dealing with those. Next up is the perpetual spinach leaf beet. 4 of those. Now I'm not going to be labelling these because I'll be able to see what they are when they come up, although it is best practice to label, and I do recommend people label what they're growing because it is nice to know. So they're on the top there, and all I'm going to do is simply push down into the compost. This is standard multi-purpose compost, okay? Push them down, and these are going to go on a windowsill, and I should expect them hopefully to be germinating within 3 weeks. That would be nice. Now with regards to watering, what I've planted out today, I'm going to be watering about once a week with the liquid seaweed feed, depending on how it goes. Maybe every other week for the feed, and just standard water from the water butt. About every week. You don't want to be over watering at this time of year, particularly when the temperatures are cooler because of root rot and things like that. You don't want that to happen. And with regards to watering these, what I've just sowed today, I'll water them in now, and I'll water them again in about a week or so, something like that. Again, you don't want to be you know, over watering, even though they're going to be, you know, inside on a windowsill. I'll show you some other winter vegetables I got going on now. So down here I've got chard and spinach. You can see they're coming, you know, there's not much of them to eat now, but this time of year the days are short, the temperatures are cold, so things really aren't growing that much, which is why it's good to have them a good size, you know, by sort of October time before you transplant them out. That way you've got a nice bit of veg to eat for the winter months. So you can see here, these are onions in here, Shenshu yellow I think, please don't quote me on that, but yes, so you could plant onions now, okay, if you wanted to. Now bear in mind the particular soil and the climate where which you currently are. Now down here in the southeast we do tend to get the one could say the driest weather here in the UK, so it's not overly boggy. And also with regards to the sort of soil that you've got, if you've got clayey soil, something like that, that doesn't drain that well, they may rot in the ground. So you can always consider growing them in containers like I have here, where which you can control your growing medium, you know, make a nice well draining growing medium with plenty of organic matter, things like that. But yes, you can plant onions out now, and leeks as well. Sorry, not leeks, I said that the other day, didn't I? These are garlic, so garlic is a great thing. You can plant that out now if you want. Same rules apply as the onions, you don't want them sitting in loads of water. And away we go. Now what else have I got? I've got some land cress here that I've got in these little propagators, so that's pretty cool. You know, take that in, put that in some sandwiches or whatever. Some spring onions that I've sowed. Broad beans here, variety Aqua Dulce Claudia, and you can plant broad beans now if you want. And what they do is they just stick their head above the ground, and then they proceed to grow in the spring when the temperatures get warmer. And they're very much worth growing broad beans. Nice taste, very, very hardy crop, and you can get them, yeah, if you sow them early, you can get the the crop a little bit earlier than if you waited until the spring, which, you know, can be a nice thing to do. And some people say if you get them in earlier, you get the crop before you miss the black fly, but that's a matter of opinion. I'll let you decide yourself on that. I've got a few little leeks rocking and rolling, not making much size, certainly not this time of year. And here I've got some kale as well. So there we go. Oh, there's a bit more, why not? I'll show you. These are some wild sown from beetroot plants I had here before. Just got these scattering about. I let them just sow, you know, and you cook that up like a child or something like that. I'll wait till the spring before they get a bit better. And the same again, look, with the spinach, little spinach plants here. That'll grow on a little bit in the spring before it proceeds to go to seed. You've seen what I've done here. Now the question, would I transplant any of the plants that I grew outside at this time of year? The Komatsuna I would, and also the purple sword Kelter stem lettuce. The carrots, I would probably continue, you know, keeping them inside in a polytunnel or a greenhouse, and the peas, very unlikely, because, you know, with regards to the wind and the weather and all that, blowing them around and damaging them, probably not as well. So everything's going to stay in the polytunnel, but you could probably get away with putting out the stem lettuce and the Komatsuna as long as everything's properly hardened off. So if you have, you know, done what I've done in the other video and you've got similar plants to this, make sure everything's properly hardened off before you put them outside. So don't be too eager to do all this, okay? I'm doing this partly as an experiment and because I'm a very keen gardener. Don't be in too much of a rush, okay? You know, if in doubt, wait till the spring. But if you fancy having a go at something a little bit different, I'm not guaranteeing you results, as indeed I wouldn't with any aspect of gardening, but particularly with, you know, this sort of thing, the results are not guaranteed, okay? But if you're really enthusiastic, you want to get out there and do something, this is what you can do. But you really want to make sure you make the most of your microclimates, okay? So, you know, windowsills I've spoke about, polytunnels, greenhouses, and also bear in mind your soil quality, the type of soil you've got, whether it's free draining or not. So if you go and plant things like broad beans, like I've spoke about, onions and garlic, and they're going to sit in wet clay, you're probably better off to wait till the spring or grow them in a pot which you can control the growing medium yourself and what goes in there. So just don't be in too much of a rush, enjoy yourself, take your time, and remember, things are going to go wrong, things aren't going to grow, slugs are going to get things. I mean, with regards to this purple sword Kelter stem lettuce, it looks like a great slug food actually, so if the slugs get them, there will be some, you know, degree of satisfaction that I've managed to feed some slugs and done a bit for them. So, you know, think positive about what you're going to do. And of course, if you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. You can check me out on Dan_Home Gardens if indeed you are interested, and any comments, questions, whatever's down below, please feel free to post them if you wish to. And see you next time, and enjoy your gardening because it's such a great thing to do.